Ford Taurus SHO is the high-performance variant of the Ford Taurus. It was originally produced by Ford from 1989 until 1999. It returned in 2009 for the 2010 model year. The SHO was built by the same team that produced the Ford Mustang SVT Cobra. It was originally created as a limited production model for 1989. However, the car proved to be very popular and sold 15,519 units in its first model year, leading Ford to order more engines and begin series production. The SHO would go on to be produced for 10 years and 3 generations, totaling 106,465 vehicles as of late 1999. In 1984, executives of the Yamaha Motor Corporation signed a contract with the Ford Motor Company to develop, produce, and supply a compact 60-degree DOHC V6 engine based upon the existing Vulcan engine for transverse application. There has been some confusion about the original intended use of the engine. It was thought this engine was first intended to power a mid-engine sports car. That project was cancelled. Patents have been found and pictures of prototype SHO power plants installed in the Taurus show that the original intent was for the larger FWD setup and the GN34 would have come later. There were a few GN34 prototypes produced, most with standard Vulcan engines and a few other factory swaps, a SHO Ranger being one. Production of the SHO came to an end after the 1999 model year due to plummeting sales. In 1999, just over 3,000 SHOs were sold, which was only a sixth of the SHO's sales numbers from 10 years prior. The SHO was revamped with the 6th generation Taurus for the 2010 model year. First generation, the SHO differed from the normal Taurus on the exterior by having a Mercury sable hood, different bumpers, side cladding, and fog lamps. The interior also differed, with sports seats and an 8,000 rpm tachometer. The SHO had a Yamaha-built V6 engine that redlined at 7,000 rpm and became the only Taurus to feature a manual transmission since the 4-cylinder MT5 was discontinued in that year. The transmission was designed and manufactured by Mazda and had the following gear ratios with a final drive ratio of 3.74. The first-generation Taurus SHO can accelerate from 0 to 60 miles per hour in 6.6 seconds with a quarter-mile time of 15.0 to 15.2 seconds. Car and Driver reported in their December 1989 issue a top speed of 143 miles per hour. A special edition of the SHO called the Plus package became available in 1991. It came as part of option package number 212A and contained different styling cues from the standard SHO, including a plastic power bulge hood, chrome window trim, a plastic spoiler without the third brake light, body-colored stripe in the lower cladding, black mirrors, black B&C pillars, rod shifter upgrade, and a body-color Taurus badge. There were also some SHOs that came with only part of the package options known in the community as a partial plus. White-painted pluses had the option of white-painted slicer wheels. The 1991 slicer wheels were Canadian, or non-directional, meaning the wheels on the right of the car would point a different direction than the ones on the left of the car. 1991 was the only year that a mocha frost color option was offered. Also in 91 a green called Deep Jewel Green Clackered Metallic was available, but only with the plus option. Second generation, the SHO was redesigned in 1992, although it continued with the same powertrain as before, the Yamaha-built V6 engine and 5-speed manual transmission. The second generation SHO borrowed from the Mercury Sable's front fenders, hood, and headlights, but used a different bumper, fog lamps, and no middle light bar. The SHO also got unique seats, side cladding, dual exhaust, as well as a unique rear bumper. The 1992 version can be visually identified by not containing a rear trunk lid spoiler, having downturned exhaust tips, and only a driver's side airbag. In 1993, the rear brakes on the SHO were converted to solid discs, replacing the vented discs of almost identical dimensions that were used in the 1989–1992 model years. The lack of an automatic transmission had hurt sales, which was a situation that Ford rectified in 1993. a 3.2L version of the Ford SHO V6 engine was introduced for the automatic-equipped SHO, which still had 220 horsepower, but now boasted 215 lb-ft, a 15 lb-ft increase over the 3.0L version. It was later discovered by enthusiasts that Ford had put a less aggressive intake cam in the 3.2L motor to maintain the same horsepower rating as the 3.0L, while still having more torque. The 1993 to 1995 automatics used the AX4S transmission with these ratios. In 1993, Ford did a minor redesign of the SHO interior, updating the center console. Other changes for 1993 included a trunk-lid spoiler, with integrated center high-mount stop lamp, and Italian, or directional slicer wheels. With the addition of Italian slicers, the SHO now had right and left specific wheels. The 94 to 95 model years featured very subtle changes. They no longer came with chrome trim around the windows, the door handles were now painted body color, and black was no longer offered as an interior color. By request of Car and Driver magazine, a SHO station wagon was created by the Car and Driver staff with the help of Ford engineers. They started with a production Taurus wagon, and from there installed SHO bodywork, including its unique front end. They then replaced the stock engine and drivetrain with SHO drivetrain. Inside, the interior was replicated of that of a high-spec SHO sedan, including its sport seats, steering wheel, and included most of the SHO's equipment. The staff then tested it, and took it on a cross-country trip. The model became nothing more than a one-off special, and the Car and Driver staff as well as Ford admitted that the SHO wagon was created just for fun, and was never meant to be a serious production vehicle. This generation of SHO has become prominent in American pop culture due to comedian Conan O'Brien using a green 1992 model that he personally owns in a number of comedy sketches. He would later facetiously claim to be the main influence behind Ford's decision to revive the model in a 2009 sketch when he reviewed the 2010 SHO with a Ford employee. Third generation, for 1996, the SHO was redesigned. Unlike its predecessors, this SHO was more refined and used less radical bodywork. It differed from the normal Taurus with different seats, wheels, bumpers, drivetrain, as well as a fin being put on the driver's side windshield wiper, to keep it on the windshield at high speeds. This SHO model sold in lower numbers than the previous SHO generations, with sales peaking at 9,000 units in 1997. As a result, Ford cut the SHO when redesigning the Taurus for its fourth generation. It was also the only Ford Taurus generation with a V8 engine. The 1996 and later models got the AX4N transmission, which has the same gear sets as the AX4S used in the 1993 to 1995 SHO, but had improved torque capacity and shift quality, such as 3-2 downshifts. The last one rolled off the assembly line on June 18, 1999. Engine equals. A 235 horsepower aluminum 3.4L V8 engine with heads from Yamaha and block from Cosworth was specified for the SHO model, but it was given the same 4-speed transmission as the LX. The manual gearbox option was no longer offered on the SHO. Separation of the camshaft from its sprocket has been implicated in a growing number of engine failures, at around 50,000 miles. This problem can be rectified by having the camshafts welded. The number of engines with failure has been documented at about 1,200 out of about 20,000 engines. Other undocumented cases very likely exist. There was no SHO for the 2000 model year. Some believe that the then president of Ford Motor Company Jack Nasser influenced the designers not to design a SHO model, for he was focusing on the premier automotive groups that consisted of Lincoln, Jaguar, Volvo and other premium automobiles built under that umbrella, and the SHO would detract sales to that division of Ford Motor Company. Fourth generation. A month after the introduction of the sixth-generation Taurus, Ford unveiled the much-awaited return of the SHO at the 2009 Chicago Auto Show. After skipping 2 Ford Taurus generations, the resurrected sports sedan has all-wheel drive and is largely derived from the Ford D3 platform. It features a 3.5-litre direct-injected twin-turbo ECO boost V6 producing 365 horsepower at 5,500 RPMs and 350 lb-ft of torque at 1,500, 5,250 rpm, mated to Ford's 6F55 6-speed select-shift automatic transmission with a paddle or console-activated manual mode. The new SHO comes with Ford's new SR1 suspension setup with McPherson front struts and a multi-link design in the rear. This includes SHO-specific shock absorbers, springs, stabilizer bars and strut mount bushings. An optional performance package offers better brake pads, recalibrated steering, a sport mode for the stability control and shorter 3.16:1 final drive ratio. A 2012 SHO was featured in the film Men in Black 3 as the MIB's official car. Visually, the differences from the regular Taurus are subtle. The 2010 to 2012 models were even more subtle, sporting a chrome wide-toothed grille and polished steel 5-spoked wheels. The 2013 current model employs a dark grey grille with small honeycomb-shaped mesh-like look. A finish that matches the 20 inches darker-looking wheels. They all have a deck-lid spoiler, dual-polished stainless steel exhaust tips, new parking lamp bezels, an ECO boost rear logo, and an SHO C-pillar logo. The 2012 brought paddle shifters to the steering column, a new performance package, and larger brakes, most of which was improved upon for the 2013 and beyond. Awards. The 2010 Taurus SHO was named Car of the Year by Esquire magazine. See also Ford Taurus, Sleeper. References. 18. 1. Blindside verification. External links, official Ford Motor Company website, Ford Vehicles website, the SHO Shopper Euro, the first Ford Taurus SHO website, National SHO Club, ECO Boost Owners Forum, Taurus Car Club of America Show Forum, SHO Source.